I'm going to talk about my eating disorder and how I recovered from it. And I didn't do everything right. So if I were to recover from an eating disorder again, I would do a lot differently. So here goes. So growing up, I spent a lot of time alone, but I always played sports. So I played baseball and softball and volleyball in middle school. So I was always on some type of sports team. And I get to high school and try out for the softball team, and I didn't make it. So I didn't have any sport to play going into high school, as if going into high school in itself isn't enough change. So you know how you have some thoughts and memories that just kind of stick with you because of their relevance or importance in your subconscious or whatever? So here's one of mine. It's like 4 p.m. Around this time, I'm a freshman in high school, no sport to play, nothing to really do. I'm sitting on my couch eating Wheat Thins and tomato soup, watching TV, and I get this full, uncomfortable, tired feeling in me. And I realize that I feel fat for the first time in my life. Anyone remember when you first felt fat? Leave a comment or DM me. It'd be great to hear about it. So it's wintertime, and my friend Barry asked if I want to join winter track with her. And I was not doing anything else, so I was sure. So that first day of winter track was so difficult, one of the hardest things I've ever done. I remember crying a little bit running around the track during it. But after, that feeling that I had was indescribable. You can't touch me kind of feeling. So good. And that's something that I still have with me today. Why I run, why I work out, why I do anything active is because I'm addicted to that feeling that I get after. So track goes on, and me and Barry, we start dieting to lose weight. And I don't think this is necessarily something that we did together or even talked about, but having the accountability of doing it with someone made it okay and justifiable. And it got bad pretty quickly. So for breakfast, I would eat a Splenda infused 80-calorie Dannon Light and Fit yogurt. Notice I remember all of that. Or an apple. And for lunch, I'd have a salad with some kind of meat on it that my school had prepared. And for dinner, I would have whatever my mom made that night, which was always pretty healthful. So with the running and the dieting, I lost a lot of weight pretty quickly. I lost 20 pounds. Some perspective, I'm 5'2", and I was 14. So an immense amount of weight loss pretty quickly. So I stopped getting my period. And this is called amenorrhea and happens when women develop a very low body weight. And I go to the doctor with my mom. So we get to the doctor, and the doctor looked at me and goes, "You're throwing up." And I think he might have even pointed. I'm just sitting there in complete shock, timid, insecure, looking to this medical professional for guidance, and this is what we got. So he gave me some birth control to reverse the physical problem, and that was that. So to speak on my eating disorder behaviors, I was always counting up calories in my head. It was like one of those apps that you import the food and they translate it into calories and give you a grand total at the end of the day kind of thing. Blah, blah, blah. One of those things. It was like that was going on 24/7 in my brain. I also knew every single fast food calorie content out there. I was obsessed. I didn't even eat fast food that often. I also wrote everything I ate and everything I did for exercise down in journals for years. Also, my gut health was terrible. I was constipated and then had diarrhea for months, maybe years. And I remember someone talking about gut health and how important it was for your overall health at the time, and I was so ashamed of mine, but I had no idea what to do or where to go from there, so I didn't really do anything about it. Also, I was always thinking about food. It was a constant distraction. So my family has a get-together, and I take a picture with some family, and when I see the picture, I didn't feel like the person in the picture was me. I was bony, skinny, my jawline was protruding, and I didn't like mirrors that much, so this was a surprise. to me. I was completely dissociated from my physical body. And I didn't like where this was going. This was like an aha moment for me. And I knew I needed to gain weight, but I was scared to. So here's what I did. I started to do push-ups. So push-ups made me feel good, like strong good rather than just skinny. And I didn't feel so comfortable at first eating more unless I was more hungry. So I did more push-ups, got some more muscle, then I was more hungry, and then I could eat more. And that's how my brain worked. So I ended up gaining weight that way. So I go to college, I run on cross country and track for a year, and tear my hip. Probably due to improper nutrition and lack of listening to my body. And I take up bodybuilding. Probably because bodybuilding and working out made me feel so good. And I followed bodybuilder diet plans for years. Like, you know, like laid out for you, 6 meals a day, protein at each meal type of diet plan. And although I was in the best shape of my life, I probably further extended my eating disorder mindset issue. Because, you know, I wasn't intuitive eating at all. I was sticking to the plan, following the books. I was doing what my diet plan told me. So I do 2 fitness shows, and after the second one, I qualify for nationals, which was kind of a big deal for me. And I'm like, I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna stop for a little while. You know, I was burnt out. I was working out all the time. I was following various diets for years. And I wanted to have my last year of college with no restrictions. In the next few months, I was further exploring my sexuality, and I didn't think about food that much. It was just like kind of like a distraction, you know? And I start working at a bar, shout out to Scrumpy's in Fort Collins, and then I start taking Adderall. Probably because I didn't want to deal with any of the feelings inside of me. The Adderall helped. It helped me to get my confidence back, and it helped to distract me from ED thinking until it wasn't there at all anymore. But I don't recommend this as a treatment plan because it's not a long-term fix, and I wasn't able to go through any of this in my mind until I was off the stuff. So a lot of people with eating disorders will have huge obstacles to overcome, like inpatient therapy or having a heart attack. Very real complications that ED patients experience. And I'm very grateful and lucky that I didn't get to this point. And also, I want you all to know that if you could take one thing away from this video, is that I still had an eating disorder. A very real, very individualized condition. You know? And these patterns, this way of thinking, this scattered, distracted, eating disorder way of thinking lasted pretty much all of high school and college for me. And even still today, I'll find myself counting up calories in my head occasionally, and I'll be like, stop. Because here's the thing. Basing what you're going to eat off of what you previously ate that day or how much you've exercised isn't intuitive eating. You know, sometimes we need more, sometimes we need less. Sometimes we're feeling great, you know? We're feeling ourselves. And sometimes we're not our best selves, and that's okay, and that's life. And it's okay and good to base what you're going to eat off of hunger and appetite rather than calories. My parents never knew I had a problem because I didn't tell them anything. You know, and even now talking to them about it, they're wary I even had a problem. And at the time, I didn't think I did either. It wasn't so clear, and it's not always going to be so obvious. So if you've had any of the experience or you've experienced any of the behaviors that I had, or you thought that you may have a problem, reach out to someone, whether it be a parent, teacher, friend, therapist, reach out to someone online who's anonymous if you'd rather. You know, help is out there and it'll be worth it to have the support. I didn't reach out for help, so I didn't have the support. And here I am 13 years later, processing and eager to share this with y'all. Look at me go. But really, tell someone what you're going through. It'll be worth it.